I hope that's on me. I have to... Hold on. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to lean forward then. Alright. So, in the beginning of the book of John, it says, talking about Jesus, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That is a very weird thing to get our heads around. Why is Jesus being referred to as God's Word, right? Let's also consider that Jesus, what he came to do was represent exactly who God was, what he felt about us, what he wanted, what our purpose was, and how we play in all of this. What the meaning of life, really. So, he came as a representation of the exact image of who God is, the physical being, and it's significant that that's God's word, right? God can't lie. Everything God says is true. So that's interesting, right? And then also in somewhere else in Matthew, Jesus says to the Pharisees, or no, he says after the Pharisees are getting on to him, or trying to, about, they try to call him out about his disciples not washing their hands first before they eat. And Jesus says, it's not what man puts into his mouth, but what comes out of it that defiles him. Right? And Proverbs 15:4, I had to look this one up, says, the soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. Here's the thing. It's not just about not cussing. It's not just about simple concepts like that. There's a very general overarching means by which you live your life through what you say. Most of the things that you bring about in life, and most of the relationships you carry on or start, most of the way they can be ruined, like Proverbs says here, most of the way you can lift people up, encourage them, or have any effect on what's outside of you. Think of how God had this effect on us, especially so firsthand through Jesus, and Jesus was his word, right? So, no, I would say over 90% of what you do in life is going to be with what you say and what you communicate. Of course, there are physical things you do, but think about it. Think about how much life would be different if you were never talking at all. Not just not talking, but even communicating in any kind of language. If you were deaf, if you weren't using sign language, if you absolutely had no communication with the outside, think of how little you could get done. There was no writing, no nothing, right? So what I'm saying is we live our life through our words. And that's what you need to understand earlier on is as your parent, I don't just want you to watch your tone because I'm offended by it, right? The person you're growing into is gonna be defined by what you say and how you say it. And that's not just scary, it's also uplifting, because you have so much power to affect the world around you and bring about good in the lives around you and your own life by communicating well, kindly, and clearly. I would say it's possible that Everest, if I'd have spoken to your mom differently, or if she'd have spoken to me differently throughout our marriage, we may still be married. Same thing with you, Ember, with your mom. Because actually, I'm just saying so much of how you can just ruin someone's life is in what you say. These court cases I'm in that I'm dealing with, it's all just words going back and forth and around a room. My communication to you with this video series, it's all just words. And a good video versus a meh video is really just defined by how I'm saying what I'm saying. So, let your words be your communication of who you are. Right? That's what Jesus is saying when he says it's what comes out of you that defiles you. Because what comes out of you is really going to influence and also speak of, more clearly than anything else, who you are. Just like when God sent Jesus, that was his word coming forth and it was speaking to us who he was. So yeah, I want you guys to understand how much power you have to build a life that's way more amazing than it could be if you're using your words carefully. And so really think, stop and think before anything you say, especially if you're heated or in some kind of argument, or you're talking to someone maybe you don't like too much. Think of how, if you say something a certain way, or if you say something different, maybe that could totally change the dynamic between you and that person, or the outcome of whatever you're trying to see through. Anyway, I love you kids. I hope to see you both soon, and I'll talk to you later. Really hope I wasn't blurry there.